Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords channel and podcast, where today we've got a fun show talking about some army lists that have been used at a Teams event, the Brothers War Teams event. Joining me for tonight's show, we have Matt back, our engine rigger garden for the Garden of Nurgle.
How's everybody doing? Thanks, Lee. Good to be back.
Good. Glad to have you back. We have our thunderer from Down Under, Mr. Alexander Krohn.
Hey, always good to be back.
Morning, Krohn. And just woken up, our Dwarden Prime, Max Bowman.
That's a dirty lie. Hello! I'm here. I'm awake.
But you're not in the same time zone as Matt, as Krohn, who should have just woken up.
I did.
Let's not talk about time zones.
Yeah, we're not talking about time zones.
7:30 in the morning here.
Yeah. Yeah, but you wait till the next show, Krohn, because your clocks are changing and our clocks are changing.
Yeah.
And you're in a weird plus half an hour space. Like you're in your.
You're in Adelaide, but we do everything just a little
universe.
Bit. Yeah.
Just by you literally do it by halves.
Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, it's a good time over here.
News. There's a lot of news.
Oh
There's
yeah.
a bit of news. Is there news?
Yes, there's always news. I mean, it's been like a month. There's like everything we know about 4th edition is new.
Yep.
But we can't really talk about all of it because that would take like 3 hours.
A whole other show when we have more info.
And also, it's probably not worth talking about yet from a KO perspective because, we don't know anything about the War Scrolls and the allegiance abilities yet. So,
when we get some hard rules.
Yes, that's when we'll talk about it. Because at the moment, it's just we know some stuff about the game, but not about KO.
A double turn.
Yeah, the priority role's not changing.
Yeah.
I was actually a little disappointed they didn't make the first turn priority roll an actual roll off. I thought that would have been interesting to curtail the power that low drops has, but
it comes down to do we still have low drops or 1-drop battalions or not?
Yes, and how the battalions interact.
1-drops exist. Or people are just gonna have to run whatever they've got. Like, is it 10 drops? Then your list is 10 drops.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 7 or however many.
Yeah.
We'll see. But be sure we'll cover everything.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say something about like being able to fly high and land near objectives now that they're smaller and easier to body block off. But then you don't even know if the whole 9-inch away that could be changed. So
or if fly high still exists. So
are we going to fly high?
So everybody's looking at like 4th edition through a 3rd edition lens, and you just can't do that.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, how are you guys feeling about what we have seen so far for the game? Are you positive?
Yeah. It looks more 40k ish.
Absolutely.
And
borrowed aspects.
40k is I've played one game of 40k and it was fun, and I've got friends who played. There's a big scene here, and it's pretty popular. So
I'm a bit wary because of the 40k. They said we'll make everything more accessible, more easier to learn. The result was, at least in my club, that all the 40k tournament players, or most of them, just left 40k and moved to AOS because they said it's not as interesting anymore as there's not as many options you have strategically or tactically. I don't know. I have never played the game since. Well, I have played it, but that was like 4th edition 40k, so it's been a while. So I don't know. Everything I'm reading sounds a lot like new 40k. Like everything's on the War Scroll. They changed. Everything has like unified, standardized rules, which is a good thing, I think. So you can say, do you have Deep Strike? Do you have Bodyguard? So it means the same for everyone.
Yeah. No more. Like, we have a bodyguard. How is your version worded?
Yeah, I have the good 6-inch pylon, but you have the bad one, and So it makes it easier to understand what your opponent's army does or is capable of doing. So that's a good thing, I think. We just need to wait basically and see, is it still, do I still get as many options with sub-factions or abilities or combos? Is list building still interesting, or is it, I'll take this and this because it's obviously the easy thing. I'll take mortars because I don't need line of sight for shooting, and it's just so much stronger than everything else. And that's the key to success. Okay, great.
The day that those
guess we're all playing Eldar.
Yeah, are we going to be the Eldar of Age of Sigmar?
So,
that day that all the indexes drop is a pretty exciting day. There's like a flurry of messages going everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be
it's going to be on like a Thursday, like 3 p.m. And then like, everyone's going to be at work, like on their coffee break, just like scrambling around and trying to read things.
It's usually like super early in the morning, like before I wake up. So like I am always a couple hours behind everybody, like trying to catch up.
Yeah, it's gonna be Krohn wakes up. Oh, we can do this and this and this. Like, yes, Krohn, we know. We've known.
You were like,
yesterday.
have
you seen the FAQ? Yes, Krohn, we have seen the FAQ. It's been out there for 24 hours.
Well, not quite 24
Australia just lags. You guys are doing all this stuff. We're sleeping. It's midnight. It's 2 a.m.
Stock market already closed. When he wakes up, the stock market's already closed. Everything happened.
Although
Facebook's full of posts and leaks, and you're like, oh my god.
To be fair for Australia, when the official Adepticon reveal shows, those sorts of things happen, they're like 2 a.m. our time, so they're probably at a good time for you, Krohn. You get to see the models at a decent time.
Great.
Yeah. I think it was 6 a.m. for us, so it was okay.
Yeah, it was like 8:30 p.m. here in Pacific.
Perfect. But because it was there. Yeah. No, so I guess we'll have to wait. We'll have to see if what the game is, how it plays. Then I'm excited to see good terrain rules, but I'm prepared to be underwhelmed.
I'm interested about how they will work because they're meant to be like a modular extra, but the current terrain rules are kind of mixed in with the movement rules. And is it going to be like, well, if you don't play the terrain rules, then you basically just can't have terrain on the table? Or is it more like, oh, there's going to be normal terrain rules mixed in with the movement rules, and then the modular bit is going to be like mysterious terrain?
Is it going to mean everything you put on the table is passable? That's the baseline, so it's nice to look at. And then the modular, let's be honest, we'll play with all the modules anyway, because that's the GHB match play. I think from what I understood, we'll do all the things. Spearhead, I don't know. I know they have something for 40k, which is very similar. I think
it's called Combat Patrol.
Combat Patrol, which I don't know anyone who ever played it. So
the one thing I was thinking about is like how is 4th edition going to be beneficial for GW as a whole, and the way that it usually, and how can you tie that into a new release, right? So like when you start to think about accessibility or people getting into the game easier, the task of completing like a 2,000 point army, because that's what it seems is the most like popular way to play because of all the content that's online and the talk of events and tournaments in the ITC. So like if they make Spearhead where it's going to be like a smaller version of the game, or like modularity like they talked about, and you can get people into the game and then expand from there, like, so that's I think why all those decisions are sort of being driven in that direction, right? So like Spearhead will be like the intro to the game, and then you may even be able to incorporate that into some sort of like force organization chart, like Maxi use like a 3rd or 4th edition 40k terminology, right? So where you start your 2,000 point army with a Spearhead, which is like, or you have multiple Spearhead variations, something like that. So that'd be really interesting to see how it takes from a list building perspective.
It sounded like an entry thing. Makes it easier for your people to try out, to play. But I assume 19% of the players will then, once they're in the hobby, will play the balanced 2,000.
Yeah, no, totally, absolutely. But like, remember how like
thing.
When fantasy died because like there's just the game became so built on, and then all of a sudden you have to like build 200 skeletons or whatever to play a game of
Yeah.
fantasy, and it just was at the end of it. So it's just like that's why, yeah. So
Well,
So
avoid
it's
that.
be exciting. I'm excited about the timeline because there's a release event in May, end of May, I think.
Mhm.
Right.
Big. So I mean that's in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
Usually we
weeks out of that.
expect the release to be like the big thing in summer, so in June, July, usually. So I don't know what's gonna happen between May. We basically know all the rules, but then we have to wait a month until we get our index. It's gonna be weird. Plus,
Yeah.
the AOS Worlds will play 3rd edition, so I'll be running around like this.
I mean, it already feels like that anyway, because we're learning so much already with all the articles that keep pumping out, and now it's like it's hard to have interest in the current game now because
It feels like
it
it's
feels
gonna
like,
be for most people. It's gonna be one or maybe 2 more tournaments, and then it's all
Yeah.
about.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to get in as many ITC tournaments as I can before 4th, and you never know what happens, right? But right now, there are strong builds for Chaos, so I'm gonna try to harvest some. I'm going to a GT in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, next weekend, so that'll be fun. 5-rounder. They'll be like.
It's a little bit of a shame they haven't given us a date yet, actually, because it does make it hard for tournament organizers.
Absolutely.
To organize a tournament. It's like, is it in May? Is it in June? Like,
on top of that, there is a rumor of another battle scroll for 3rd edition.
Yeah, I heard that
Really?
too, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" What?
Yeah,
I have not heard this.
It is so.
I heard that
seems
too.
very, very likely to happen. But it seems like a thing. Like, here's a battle scroll next week. Oh, here's look at our new videos for 4th edition.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, why would they make a battle scroll? Who's still playing 3rd, really?
Most competitive people still. But yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
over here.
interesting because there's a huge grand tournament on the east coast of the United States, like in middle of June, the Atlantic City Open. I think there's like probably 150, 200 players, something like that. It's a huge event. And I wonder, it's like Frontline Gaming's second biggest event behind LVO. So I wonder if that will be 3rd edition or 4th edition, if it's going to be in that weird like quasi limbo state.
So I assume the official release of 4th edition will be in summer, June, July, sometime there. But after the May event, we'll see videos, we'll see test players, we'll see, I don't know, maybe Season of War, already have the book, they'll show us batch reps, and we'll start learning the edition, same as Old World.
Do you think they'll do a beta release?
I would
say,
love
look,
that.
Here it is, but this is a beta and
subject to change.
Maybe they'll release the core thing and Spearhead, but then the GHB and all the indexes and all the add-on modules will be in summer. So it's like we're playing the core rules, and everyone's like, oh, it's not as good, it's a bit lame, because we don't know what the match play content will be. Maybe that's more exciting. So it's going to be a state of everyone is screaming on the internet as usually. Who knows?
Oh, everyone will be screaming on the internet regardless of what they do. So
yeah. Oh my god, they count as free. What does that even mean? They count as free.
People are already screaming on the internet. They said battle tactics in the last article, and that's got people. Battle tactics are back. You don't know what battle tactics even means.
You don't know how scoring is calculated, or how you score points in turns. It's exactly. Everybody's looking at this from a 3rd edition lens at one spotlighted section of the rules, and it's just nonsense.
Yeah. Remember when they reduced the size of the playboard?
Yeah.
The game mat, and everyone's like, "Oh no, but why?" and horrible.
That sucks. It's horrible. It's random.
You can play, but you don't have to play. Everyone's playing that size anyway. Now, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Could you imagine if they went back to
big map?
To 4x6.
We still have a few for Horus Heresy in the club.
After people cut down their mats and stuff, and if they then went back, everyone would be like, "What?"
Well, people are gonna start cutting down their objective markers. So
yeah, we're gonna have to get all.
We're just gonna get some new ones.
So objective. I mean, I don't mind playing on smaller ones because they are big. I mean, it's a freaking
I think it's a good
Top
change
edition.
to make them small, especially with the table size. I think they should have done it when third edition started, when they made the table size smaller. Because at the moment we actually have some battle plans where the objectives overlap and stuff, or part of the objective goes off the table. And
exactly. Yeah.
So like I saw somebody saying that that's not that much smaller because it's a 40 millimeter circle with 3 inches, so it's a 7.5 inch diameter circle, and that's not that much. But when you do the math and you see, I think the objective markers we have now are like 140 square inches, and the smaller ones are like 44. It's like crazy.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it's massive. It's
Just
like
look at it's a 40K thing. It's a smaller thing. But again, we went down the rabbit hole.
Spearhead as well. That it would make sense to have smaller ones if they're going to use them for spearhead. If they want to use the same size objectives for spearhead, and because that would presumably be on a slightly smaller table. I don't know, might not be, but
to be honest, I wouldn't be.
Could be on half a table. Yeah.
No, that GW are concerned about it. So
they are super concerned about narrative and open play or whatever it's called. I've never seen anyone play open play.
I've never seen someone play open play. That's true.
That's important for everyone can have something. Okay, cool. But let's be honest, 80% are gonna play match play games. So
yeah, cool. We've got some people in the chat. So hi to Louise, DD Martin, and congratulations to Alicia for coming third in the tournament today. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Nice. And we have a question. Someone gave up trying to understand how to play KO and started playing Farstriders. My mouse gone asleep. There we go. Can you tell me what kind of army KO is? Is it a shooting army? Well, I guess the answer to that is yes, because every model in the army has a gun except for one.
But in Fireslayers, everyone has a shooting
attack. But they don't shoot you; they throw axes at you. But there is a strong melee side to KO as well. With
in the current book, you can do both. You can do shooting, you can do fighting, and you can do bombing.
They're combined arms. They're combined arms, right?
And basically, we're good at battle tactics. So you just keep scoring battle tactics.
Where is that on the shooting or melee or battle tactic army? We're a battle tactic army that also shoots and melee.
Yes. Don't die. Get your battle tactics, and then once your opponent's dead, you catch up on points or use Gotrek.
And cool boats.
Cool boats. Basically, either take loads of thunderers and shoot people to death.
But it's a very different play style from your standard Fireslayers. Fireslayers, you have big blocks, you do a lot of melee, you meet in the middle. KO, you don't. You stay away from your opponent to annoy him, and then you go precisely to strike and attack wherever you want.
Attack where they're weak, and then keep picking off parts of their army.
And then
or battle tactics every turn.
Scalpel army. You're not a hammer. You can't hit them and you can't take them on head on. You have to find that weak spot.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Cool.
It is.
So before we look at the lists for tonight's show, we're trying a new thing. We've got some hobby showcases we want to show off. So let's have a look. I think the first one
KO
is
hobby.
Not yet. Yeah, not just KO. Just the first choice is Max's.
Yes, because this is just.
I mean,
crazy,
incredible.
I mean, everyone has seen this. This has been going around to social media before they gave away the trophies. And I think this won the Slayer sword. In the end, this is just crazy. This is not a mirror. This is a whole model.
Right.
Someone built by hand.
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I legitimately thought it was just on a very shiny surface.
Yeah, but it's
that's how good it
and
is.
I mean, but there's a different color there, Lee. Are you kidding me?
No, I didn't really think about it that much. I just saw it. I just glanced at the picture someone shared. I was like, yeah, that's really well painted, and it's on a shiny surface.
No, this is Kato, and it gives you the impression that he's standing on the side of a pond.
Yeah,
a very still water surface, and just mirrored below is how did he mirror the module though?
What do you mean? He just built the same model in a Chi roll position.
Although he's backwards, isn't he? So he's literally he's not mirrored.
Correct.
Yeah. No, if you turn it the other way, it is actually. So that's
It's
like
the
almost
same.
fully hand sculpted.
Yeah, he must have reassembled the whole model because it is a mirrored image of the model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you
Like,
look at the position of the
flip it.
axe, or the I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the
if you
hilt,
would
because his head's
swap
not
it
there, but-
up,
exactly.
the sword
Look at
hilt
the
would
sword.
point in the other direction. If you just turn it 180 degrees upwards.
Right.
So it must be fully rearranged, sculpted. Okay. Yeah, on the trees, on the grass, and every scratch, and every dent on the armor, on the painting. And then, I mean, it's a hollow armor, so he has reassemble the whole thing, resculpt without arms, and it is a crazy piece. So fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that
hobby.
it was that the whole model was like mirrored and resculpted. Like, how do you
Yeah.
beyond 3D printing? How do you do that?
There are some really great green stuff sculptors out there. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, a lot of sculpting, hand sculpting, and then there's some little details on the base. Like if you look, if you go back one image, please. In the tree trunk, there's red eyes on that image, and yeah, it's just the longer you look, the more details you find. Fantastic, well deserved.
Lee, you're muted.
Yep.
Muted. How long have I been muted for?
I don't know. I haven't heard you talk for a while.
Oh, I don't know when I muted myself. I must have done it by accident. Did anyone hear me talk about the fact that the vampire doesn't have a reflection?
No, but that's
yeah. That's the whole point of the model, I think.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I see. Yes.
But it's really easy to miss because obviously his main body is reflected because his armor and his clothes are reflected, but he isn't.
But the skin is not there.
Yeah. Cool. Someone in the chat's pointed out muted as well. Since I started drawing on my screen, that's right. Okay.
So funny.
Cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I probably did it with a keyboard shortcut trying to swat on the pencil. That's really cool. Cool. Next pick is mine. So we've got KO pick here. It's by David Pagano. So it's just a really cool, massive KO ship.
It's massive.
That is huge.
It's huge, yes.
It's 1.3 meters long.
Wow.
That's what she said.
David said it's bigger than his TV.
Wow.
So this is for like use in apocalypse games or whatever we have.
Well, I think he's mostly just using it as a terrain piece. Because he's building a whole KO themed table, which isn't finished yet, but he's using like a bunch of the Tired World stuff as well.
But this is wow.
Yeah, this is a 3D print. Apparently, it took 2 weeks to print.
Holy shit!
I don't know if that was just like non-stop printing.
That thing was gonna burn up.
Or we had to stop for it to cool down. But it's massive. There's a couple of other shots there.
Wow.
There's a whole diorama on the base.
Yeah, because
I like how the ironclad can actually
massive.
fit underneath it. You know what I mean? So you can be used as terrain very easily.
The ironclad's pretty big by itself, but yeah.
Very huge. And inside, like it comes apart, and there's like this bit's obviously not finished painting this bit, and these are older pictures because you can see like the bits of the outside that aren't painted on these pictures.
Wow!
But yeah, you can see how big the Arkanauts are in comparison.
You can role play inside.
D&D in there, yeah.
So yeah,
that's amazing.
It's huge. Fantastic. So yeah, I don't think he's quite finished yet. So when he has finished it, I think it's going to be really cool to see all the inside and everything painted as well. And then when he gets the whole table finished as well, like a whole KO themed table, it'd be really cool. So yeah, that's David's. Obviously we've got the Instagram things on the screen. We had it for Alexandre for Max's pick as well. So if you want to go check out any of these people, give them some likes on Instagram, give them a follow. Matt, it's your pick. So Is this a mate from your club?
Yeah, thanks. This is my buddy and my teammate, Curran, Clean Brown's Ogre Army. Sorry, it's not KO themed, but I just thought it was a incredible freehand on all the tattoos and the banners, and just a really, really beautiful army. So I just wanted to show it off because I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Cool
Really
color choice, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I like the ice swords. Nice and cool.
Yeah, I think this whole army started from a Corsair Secret Santa, and one of our teammates got him an ogre hero, and it had sort of this we all painted it for each other, and one of the this blue was one of the feature colors, so he just started an ogre army and ran with it. Yeah, awesome. The Iron Blaster here.
Yeah, it's you don't really get any options to do things like tattoos for KO.
Not a whole lot of space.
No,
not a lot of skin.
No,
yeah, no, not at all.
No, but it's really nice. Nice a bit of right. And Krohn, your pick is from Azur Lentali. This is his frigate.
Just this guy who I saw on Facebook with these massive conversions, like using a lot of islands and floating rocks and kind of these KO like. I'm thinking it's like a Fire Slayer almost theme of like building this island that then goes in a battle, and it's just so many kits put together. Like, there's Hellblaster, there's the Lumineth Island, there's the Gyrocopters, and just a million other little things just scattered all over.
Iron Drakes and stuff.
There's a lot of dispossessed pieces. Yeah, Iron Drakes, Cocksmith. I love the little rocket he's holding in his hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just
it's really cool.
Unreal.
Like a massive kiss bash.
The level of creativity. Yeah, that's great.
That's a good use for Lumineth.
And these he is balloon boys without balloons. Which is cool.
Oh, just all like
little,
Iron Drakes
like
or Iron Breakers.
Yeah.
Farting.
Cool smoke. Farting. I'm not entirely sure what the thing on the right is, whether that's an endless spell. I'm assuming it probably is.
It looked like a Everblaze Comet, maybe.
Yeah, it depends when it was done. When we could do that. But he's working on an Ironclad at the moment. And if you go check him out on Instagram or on the KO Facebook group, you can see that. But it's not finished yet, and he asked for us not to sort of show that off because he hasn't painted it. But if you want a sneak peek, it looks amazing. Because
great brand building there.
Yeah. If you think this is cool, imagine something bigger.
Oh yeah, it is very cool. It is very cool.
Yeah.
Great. Still a lot of creativity for KO.
So, yeah, lots of really cool stuff happening in the hobby to give people inspiration. So yeah, new thing we're doing the show. Let us know if you like us doing this sort of thing. And
if you have any cool things,
if you have suggestions, you want to.
Well, if you want to show us stuff, show us your cool stuff. Let's see it. Cool. Should we look at some KO lists then?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
No, let's go.
All right, see you later.
Yeah,
show's over.
So this tournament is a teams event. Each team had 6 players playing different lists, which I assume had this normal sort of caveats where you can't use the same units and stuff. So, and a lot of them, I can't remember how many teams there were, but there were a lot of KO lists, 7 to be precise. I think there was about 12 teams. That sounds about right.
Good in teams.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right. So, lots of different KO lists that people I think are very good because typically teams lists, the people picking the strongest things they can, but also a little bit skewed because of the way the pairing process works. So the first one is from Will Holley. Was a cool chap, met him a couple of times. I think I can't remember where his team come, but out of the KO players, he come sort of second in points scored. So this list did very well out of the 7. It's Barak now, 1 drop, 1990 points. He's got an Admiral with Stormcaller, a Navigator, an Aetherchemist with a pouch of null dust. The Navigator has the Voidstone Orb as well. 15 Thunderers with mixed weapons. 2 units of 20 Arcanauts. A Gun Hauler. And the Farstriders.
They
And an Ironclad with the last word. All in a battle regiment.
The Farstriders come out from the board edge, I believe. If that is
They can each movement phase, instead of moving, they can teleport from board edge to board edge.
Yeah.
They're the Underworld's warband. Basically, they are Vanguard.
One of the
hunters.
many Stormcast ones.
But yeah, it's free guys for 90 points instead of 100 points for 5 guys. But they do the same thing. They just jump around from board edge to board edge.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And this is sort of a variation on some lists we've seen before with 2 units of 20 Arcanauts and 15 Thunderers. We know that that's already a strong list based on it winning tournaments, similar to Nathan they use it in Australia. And the Farstriders is, I think, before Nathan had a unit of Endriggers to go in the Gun Hauler.
Yeah, before the points went up.
Yeah.
Nathan's list without the Endriggers and replaced with Farstriders instead.
Yep.
Which also allows him to have an engine work on the Ironclad, which is a nice addition.
Yep.
It's cool.
Yeah. Before you had the Gun Hauler with compartments to do battle tactics, basically. Surround destroy, like the 3 Endriggers and the Gun Hauler into one edge, one corner, and so on. And yeah, now you can just use the Farstriders for surround destroy. Yeah, I tried this list as well. That was my pick to adapt the original list as little as possible. I must say the Farstriders, they do surround and destroy. That's it. Then they
Okay. Yeah.
don't contribute much. They have a little ability where in the shooting phase they can do a mortal wound on a 4-up. It's nice to have, but yeah, it's 3 dudes jumping around.
I guess the thing is they can't really even really threaten backfield objectives and stuff because of having to come in on the 6 inches from the board edge.
Some battle plans, yes.
Yeah.
But mostly surround, destroy, and then intimidate, and that's it.
So Max, you're a teams guy. Why are KO so popular in teams tournaments?
Teams are in teams. The big change to your normal standard game is you can build a list that's gonna have 2 weak opponents, like 2 weaknesses. You say, I'll immediately lose if I face Seraphon, which in a single event might not be a good solution because you're bound to face Seraphon at one point probably. In teams event, you can just, with the pairing process, you can start to avoid that matchup, which means you don't need to care about Seraphon or the Techless build, the magic things. Say, I don't care. I'm going to try to pair into things that are very strong in the meta, like Khorne. And KO, I believe KO are a good answer to Khorne because of the shooting. We can switch off the ward by just moving a Gun Hauler within 8 inches. And so I'm not saying it's an easy match, but you have a good shot at it. And even if you're in a losing matchup, so to say, with all the easy battle tactics KO can score without interacting with the opponent, you're gonna lose that matchup. It's referred to as being thrown under the bus or being the bus boy. You go play, I don't know, the Seraphon Mortal Wound build, whatever. Everyone else is gonna lose 20-0. Well, you just stay away and do your battle tactics. You're just gonna still score your, I don't know, 10 to 15 points. So you're gonna lose less. The difference in points won't be as big, so you're still scoring points for your team, which is the beauty of a team event. Every point matters, so you play until the last turn on each round, because all the points in the end will be accumulated for your team. So it's a good thing. Yeah, we have a losing matchup, but you're just gonna be 10 points ahead of us from that match instead of 20, maybe.
Yeah,
because you count in a 20-0 system mostly. Yeah. So it's easy battle tactics, and some armies cannot cope. Yeah, some armies can just not deal with KO. Let's be honest. So you have a good answer.
I mean, KO are generally quite a strong army at the moment anyway. You know, we're sort of generally sitting at the top of the win rates at GW Battle, or if not, second from top. It's interesting though, because you know some of the benefits you mentioned about teams events. This list isn't really skewed in any way. This is just pretty much a normal KO tournament list.
Yeah. This is a list I have seen for teams events since November or December.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it originated with Nathan and everyone copied him, or the other way around, or everyone got to the same point where this is a good thing to have. You know, great minds work alike. But I've seen this being played at Six Nations in the UK by several teams, all playing the same list. So it is just, 20 Arcanauts counting as 40 gives you an upper hand in the primary scoring, which is fantastic, with a 4-up rally. And the rest is just, Ironclad with 15 foreigners. You go where you need to delete something. And the rest is just those battle tactics. All the easy battle tactics we have, this army can do.
Yeah.
So
I guess the important thing about this list is you don't get too far behind. You know, while you're zipping around with all your important stuff, getting battle tactics, because you've got those 2 units of 20 Arcanauts, you're not getting really far behind on points from the objectives. So then you don't really have to do much catching up later on. Whereas if you don't have those 2 units of 20 Arcanauts, you know, you could easily be getting only 1 point per turn for objectives as opposed to 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah. So cool. Let's move on and look at another list. So the next one is from Matt Sandiford. We have to be nice about Matt's list because he's in the KO WhatsApp chat. So be warned, guys, as is Will, actually. So this is 2,000 points, 1 drop as well, which is well, all of these lists are low drop, I'd say, except for 1. Lots of 1 drops, lots of 2 drops. But this is a bit different because Barak Urbaz, he has an admiral as his general with the ex-Grunstock. Is that correct? Why would you need that in Urbaz?
For 15 funders.
Yeah, because the funders. Yeah. Celestial Burst Grenade. The chemist has a Nullstone icon and Gotrek as well. A unit of 20 Arcanauts, a unit of 10 Arcanauts, 15 Thunderers. Not with the full mixed weapons. He doesn't have the mortars. And an Ironclad. There we go. So do we think on this list, maybe if Matt's around, he might even tell us, do you think the no mortars is because Matt is a long-term KO player? Or because it's and he just hasn't got the mortars from when mortars used to be bad? Or because he just wants the 18-inch range?
I mean,
I think there's something to be said for more shots at range.
Have 18-inch range, I think.
Do they?
The range is the same.
But
it's less shots against single
single
model targets. Or
maybe he really values the pip of Rend.
Maybe he values the Rend. And
tell how long it's been since I played Thunderers.
Yeah, same here.
maybe this is a list built towards killing monsters, so you get more out of a rifle than one shot from a mortar.
I find it hard not to take a navigator in a list. I think that's probably my biggest criticism of the army here, is that I find it being able to blow multiple units a turn is just so important, especially when you're trying to play this delicate keep away game with 15 Thunderers while like funneling them toward Gotrek, right?
Is he trying to keep away? No. Well, you were like, come at me. There's Gotrek waiting for you.
Yeah.
So maybe that was one of the
I could see having the Thunderers on one, the Thunderbolt on one side, and then Gotrek on the other, and then keeping the army keeping your opponent sort of bottled in while Gotrek closes in. But no, I find it hard. I find it hard not to write any Kharadron Overlords list with a navigator. It's just too good of a war.
Yeah, especially because we can see he took the burst grenade, so he forgoes avoid stone open auto unbind because either he says I'm not playing against magic, I don't care,
Mhm.
Or I want to play against Nurgle or like the Nurgle
Which isn't
Lord.
super prevalent in the meta right now, and even still.
In teams against this is teams, so you might be fine. A Magaflord list or a Glocklin list.
Or more popular these days, I think, is going to be just mass plague bearers, 100 plague bearers, massive DPS check.
So yeah, and then you can remove one of those things with the 50 thunders, 2 rend, and a burst grenade, and then you still have 20 and 10 Arcanauts for counting 2. Yeah, it's basically this is a list that we have seen before. 50 thunders with Gotrek, but and Navigator, but because of the points increases, that list went to 2020, I assume. So he said, "Oh, I'll just cut the Navigator, but then I have points spare, so I can make 1 Arcanaut unit 20." This is
having a big unit of Arcanauts with Gotrek is good as well, because it forces people to come towards Gotrek in some ways.
Yeah.
But no. I like having a Navigator with Gotrek. I know you sort of said about like you don't want to stop people coming towards you, but some people try to avoid Gotrek, so halving their movement stops them running away from Gotrek as well.
Right.
So which is kind of cool. But yeah, this feels more like taking a little bit of a skew, because you're playing in teams, and okay, you think you won't need to have the Voidstone Orb because you can avoid those pairings.
This is, I think, Matt, maybe he can tell us. He wants to play on battle plans with maximum free objectives.
Because some teams event, it's and I don't know if this one was doing it. Actually, I should have checked this. It's not just pairing into your opponent; it's pairing into a particular battle plan as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So
mostly,
So, you pair into one where there's one objective in the middle, and then that's really good for Gotrek.
No risk without reward is fantastic for Gotrek.
He starts in the middle of the board.
He's already there.
He's there. Good. He doesn't even need to charge. No, this is the aspect, the fun aspect of a team events. You pair into lists, into battle plans. You need to think, what are they going to put for what battle plan? Sometimes even terrain maps. So a lot of dense and light terrain maps. So it's a whole mind game
ecosystem
going on. And having Gotrek in a list in a team is very strong. Is he the strongest pick in KO? I don't know, but having him in your lists, you can force people in the pairing process. So if they want to put down Sons of Behemoth, but they know you have Gotrek on the hand, they might not do it, or they might not pick you as the pairing for their Sons of Behemoth, which means you can force them to pick someone else, and which leaves then Gotrek for some other matchups. It's a whole game thing. Yeah, it's a game in itself.
Good at that team's meta game, like the team's background play.
Yeah, Gotrek is fantastic in team events. Yeah.
Here's a quandary, because obviously Gotrek is, and I can see why Gotrek would be really good in teams, and I know why he's good in KO. Is KO the best place to put Gotrek in a teams event? Or could you make? Are there other factions?
Seraphon love Gotrek.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it works points wise anymore, but I have seen a very strong. We have played it in my team history in some teams events we went to. We had Seraphon with the Krohn mortal wound shenanigans plus Gotrek. So like you cannot stay away because I'm going to kill with mortal wounds every turn. But if you come close, I have Gotrek waiting for you. So it's the whole, like, whatever you do, you're screwed. It's a fun thing, yeah.
I spotted a typo on the screen. Can anybody find it?
Oh.
Your beard badge is going to get taken away, Arcanaut Admiral, because this one's on an important Duarden.
Grungsson.
Grungsson. That means
that's a big one.
There's a very good chance that might be on multiple slides then, because there's a reason. There's a reason why Gotrek is on the thumbnail.
Got him.
And because he's in a lot of lists in this event, and I might have copy and pasted him. So we'll find out. We'll see how many times he Gotrek Grungsson turns up.
This is like Gotrek Gurnisson's like evil cousin or evil twin.
With a little mustache.
He's got like an eye patch. Yeah.
Mario.
Before we move on, we have a little question from the chat. Probably should have opened up earlier. Which of the battle tactics you consider to be easy because they find the majority to be situational? Bombing run, opening salvo, mobilize the fleet.
So yeah, absolutely. Bombing run is situational.
Yeah,
because you need a low wound target. Unless you run a list like I have been recently with 4 boats, then it's super easy.
It's pretty reliable.
A lot of into it.
Yeah, or the 10 gunner lists. Mobilize the fleet is super easy.
You just
First
have to
turn, you
set
get
that up.
3 people out of the boat. Oh,
Yeah.
second turn, what can I do? These 3 people, I can get them back in the boat.
Mm.
Whenever you
one,
tell people, they just roll their eyes. You know,
Mhm.
If turn
so
one you
that's an
don't
easy one.
charge in
mobilize the fleet
straight off,
easy.
and just have like don't charge off exactly. Have your 3 heroes basically just pop out the back of the boat and let your front line do something. Then turn 2, you just go right. Everyone back in the boat. Now we can jump in.
Yeah,
Right.
that one, or when you know you're gonna do, if you're playing an ironclad with 50 thunders, and you know where you're gonna apply your thunders, you can do a boots on the ground because they're gonna get out of the boat anyway. Then just put them where they are in enemy territory. Done. You're not changing your plan. That's what you have. Usually units dropped before it gets stuck in combat. Well, that's a sequencing thing. That's what you need to think ahead a bit. But if you do a little bit of thinking ahead and planning ahead, it's super easy.
Opening
First
salvo.
turn, you do opening salvo, although you need to be sure to actually kill the thing you want to kill. Don't go out, kill that chaff unit, and then you miss your 2 shots with the ironclad, and then suddenly you miss the battle act. Then go for a surround destroy or an easy one.
Intimidate.
Do a stake a claim. You know, you see, he has 2 objectives because he deployed on objectives. Deploy. Don't deploy an objective. Deploy next to the objective.
Yeah, stake a claim is an easy one.
Stake a claim is just
a super easy one.
He scored a 5-point turn. Now I score a 5-point turn, and I'll do.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything. You put a gun hauler on one objective, and you put your Arcanauts in your home objective. Now you have 2 objectives. He has 1. Oh,
You go kill something.
I've done it. What have you committed? The gun hauler, maybe. If he has a very maybe not.
Blowing up.
Blast them to smithereens.
Blast to smithereens, a fantastic one. I like to keep that one for later games when there's just 1 or 2 units about next to it. Because you always need to be wary. Can he bring units in? But
blast them to smithereens is don't look at an objective that has units close to it and think, okay, well that unit's close to that one. Look for the ones like sometimes there'll be you have like two objectives and there'll be a unit in between both and they'll be closer to one and be like, oh, that's the obvious one to pick. No, pick the other one that
they're still within 12.
Yeah, as long as they're just within 12 of it, they only have to be slightly within. And because sometimes, you can like pick the right objective and you're like, okay, even though this is the objective I'm going to take, I'm going to pick that one because that's the one where it only has 1 unit in range, not 2 units or something.
Yes.
Just make it easier for yourself when you do that sort of thing.
Just be wary of bringing back models like Soul Blight. Pay attention that he can maybe on a 4-up put a unit within 12 of that objective. For a gravesite, rally. Maybe now he can rally 2 models and he'll be within 12 with that unit. So things like that. Just think ahead if it's the right one or if it's too risky. But compared to other armies, those are very easy things to do.
You can lay out a series of battle tactics that you want to do with a general game plan, almost sometimes regardless of your opponent, because it just doesn't matter. In the end, it really doesn't matter if you're going to say, I'm going to do opening salvo round 1. I'm going to parlay that into and intimidate the invaders, which then rolls into boots in the ground and mobilize the fleet. And then you pick one other battle tactic, like drain your power or the new one,
Fantastic one.
or blast them to smithereens on your last one, surround and destroy, super not hard. And all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, I accidentally completed all 5 battle tactics in my game. Oh, and your army's dead. Look at that. I mean, that's kind of how the
yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't even mention intimidate the invaders until you said it then, because it's not just the KO ones that are necessarily easy. It's that KO are very good at scoring the normal ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize, or I haven't seen it talked about, where you can essentially just get guys out of the boat if the boat's in combat, and then you can just disembark, and that's not retreating, and then they charge in, and then you disengage, and oh, look at that, I got my battle tactic.
Yeah. For example, this list here we see on the screen. If you put the Ironclad into enemy territory with 2 heroes and 15 friends inside, that's 4 units out of your 7 units. You just achieved intimidate by moving 1 model.
That can fly high.
That can teleport.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you want to, I want to shoot that unit off an objective. Fantastic. You do your whole Ironclad, get out, make sure the Admiral touches the objective, or in this case, the Chemist, because he has an old stone icon. Drain their power. You don't even need to conquer the objective. You just need to contest it.
It's so good. That's why everybody was so upset about the points increases at the battle scroll, but they gave KO another automatic.
I haven't even done that battle tactic yet.
I do it a lot.
I keep forgetting about
people jumping out of frigates. It's just the only thing you need to bear in mind. It needs to be an enemy controlled objective. Sometimes that's hard because you've already taken none. You have none. But it's an easy one.
I like to wait with intimidate until it's like, because it's so automatic, so easy to do. I like, that's my turn 4 or 5. Like, if I've run out of everything else, like if I can think of anything other than intimidate to do, I'll do that, and keep intimidate as like that one freebie in my back pocket.
Right.
Fair enough.
Normally, what I like to try and do is think, what do I want to do this turn in terms of objectives, and then try and look to see if there's any battle tactics that actually synchronize with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that I'm not trying to do 2 separate things.
Usually you have a couple of choices. So you think, okay, I still have 3 rounds to play. I need 3 battle tactics. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Which one do I want to do now? Which one is harder to achieve later? Intimidate, as Krohn says, is you can always achieve unless you're dead. So maybe keep that for last, and then that's it.
I find you don't want to do surround and destroy in the middle of the game. You kind of want to do it turn 1 or towards the end.
Because usually it's not where you want your units to be, unless you're already fighting over that. So you just run your navigator out of the back of the boat up there. It puts another unit that's on the objective anyway on the side, and then
you normally want to be somewhere more in the middle, and then
true.
So that one's hard. But that's also an easy like turn 5 one, because you just like fly high my ship over into that corner because I've already got everything. Cool.
It's also easy turn 1 where you just, for example, with this list, you'll say, okay, I'll just put my Arcanauts on 2 objectives, score more, and I put the Ironclad into the corner. So that's 2 units within 6 of a board edge, and maybe.
That way you can give away priority.
You give away priority. Say, I'm sitting in the corner. You can't reach me anyway.
Exactly.
But I just scored 5 points. I don't need to engage.
Yeah.
Literally no point.
Yeah, no risk.
You only put yourself in a vulnerable position to be doubled. Sometimes.
Cool. Let's move on. Next list.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. So this one is by Matt Lyons. It's 2,000 points and 8 drops. So not a low drop army. Barak Zon. So we're changing to a different style of KO. Arcanet Admiral is a general with X Grundstock and a phosphorite bomblets. A navigator with the pouch of null dust. Engine master on foot. Gotrek.
Grungsson.
Yes, Grungsson. Yes, it does say Grungsson. Yeah, a unit of 10 Arcanauts, a unit of 6 riggers, 10 Thunderers, and an Ironclad. And he has the Wizard Finders of Antor battalion, which is why he's high drops.
Sure.
Cool.
So in that is the Admiral, the riggers, the Thunderers, and the Ironclad. which is that battalion got a bit of a go up recently because it now has a spell ignore, which is really. I would have been tempted to put Gotrek in it actually.
I'm not sure he can because he's unique.
Non-unique,
You can't put unique ones. Okay, that's fine.
No.
But still, putting the Ironclad in is really good. Just having your Ironclad in there.
It basically gives you a 5-up block against Blizzard on your Ironclad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Froststrike Bomblets in this feels like a bit of a team's pick, as in.
I have a question. Can Froststrike Bomblets go on an Admiral? I thought it was Engine Riggers, Engine Masters.
No, not anymore.
It used to, in the old book, it was Engine Masters.
That's cool.
Only now it's not. It can go on anyone. But yeah, it feels like they have got the magic tech, so they don't necessarily need the Voidstone Orb as much.
I wonder about the choice of Barak Zahn, but then having such a large investment in Thunderers. So if this is nitpick Tuesday, Saturday, then that's something that is a little bit of anti-synergy for me in the list. But
it synergizes nicely with the battalion, though.
And the energy is
of course, absolutely. So if it's one thing that I would point out is that I think if you're investing so many resource points or decision points into that concept, I would buy in a little bit more. But Gotrek cures all ails, right? Like he can mask a lot of deficiencies. Having 6 Endrin Riggers with 3 attacks apiece, and then Gotrek on the other side, it's
hitting and winning on 2s.
Yeah, with a mini thunder boat here, like a thunder skirmish, right? A thunderclad, funneling them towards those 2 threats. It's interesting for sure. And he does have the correct. He has the null dust, which is the correct choice always.
I was going to mention that at some point during this show because I normally go for the null stone icon.
So do I.
Man, you're both wrong. It's okay though. It's all right.
Matt, explain why you like the Pouch of Null Dust then.
I like the Pouch of Null Dust because I find my opponents. You deployed so far back that you are out of unbind range. I'll do Magic Dominance, and then that turn I'll throw the Null Dust. And the amount of times they have failed their battle tactic and just lost points, and it threw off their game, and then. I find that incredibly powerful.
Miscasting doesn't fail you to battle tactic as long as you still have one successful cast.
Right, exactly. So if they're like, oh well, that's my battle tactic, and they, or they don't get the other spell off. Just the amount of times it's caused disruption right from the get-go. I have found it very valuable.
Yeah, the problem I have with the Null Dust, it's a once use thing. And I like the Nullstone icon, especially with Primal Dice, because if you unbind successfully, you can unbind again. And I had my Admiral unbind techless like 3 times in a row.
It's pretty good.
With Primal Dice.
Pretty good variance there, yeah.
So you don't necessarily need the heroic willpower because you already have 2 base unbinds with a navigator.
With the navigator, yeah.
Maybe you put one on the chemist, so you have 3 unbinds. That's already a lot for KO. So it gives you some game into the magic.
That's fair.
And the other thing is, because I play a lot of teams events, the Null Dust pouches always taken by Krohn. Because if you miscast against Krohn, you get D6 more wounds instead of D4. Yeah. So it's so much more powerful in Krohn, so they always take the dust. Yeah.
And if I know I'm gonna throw my Thunderclad. If I'm in this list and I'm throwing the Thunderclad into something that has Blizzard nearby, the Pouch and Null Dust is like a little speed bump for that, right? Like maybe in this list he doesn't have the Voidstone Orb, so you gonna get Blizzard. I'll throw out my Null Dust, and now you have 3 chances to miscast and stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that the bomblets. Bomblets are a cool choice. We need to also keep in mind that in a teams event, like something like Arcane Tome is limited to 1 per team. So that also maybe you need to take what was still available from what your mates took in their lists. In this case, bomblets is cool because you just have another multiple wound thing you can.
So those teams events don't limit battalions, do they?
Some do, some don't.
Because I mean, that'd be another good reason to say Wizard Finders of Antor would be if the battalions are limited.
I mean,
and someone else is using Battle Regiment.
I can see this. He wants to play against Magic, obviously,
Yeah, he wants to
because of
play
Wizard
against
Finder.
Magic.
So a good
Yeah.
thing to kill wizards is get your Admiral within 6 and start rolling
Mhm.
2 pluses.
Mhm.
That will kill Croak quickly if you go rolling 2
Yeah.
pluses. You don't need to care about Lookout Sir. You don't need to care about other things. You can run him up there.
Yeah.
It's not a shooting attack. It's just a rolling dice. You don't need to
Yeah.
care about line of sight blocking.
Mhm.
So it's a fun.
I love the
choice.
the tall tales of people have. I once did 47
Yeah.
mortal. It's fun.
Yeah.
To a 5 wound hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
My best shot with that was 19 mortal wounds to a Catacross.
Oh,
That took him out.
Yeah.
He was not having a good time there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately,
fun.
I also have stories of using it and rolling a 1 for the
Yeah.
first
Oh, yeah.
round.
one.
You
Yeah,
do like two wounds and then that's it. Yeah.
The way I found it is the
Yeah.
more you hype up that roll, the more you say this thing can do like this thing could solo your stuff, the more likely you're gonna get it one. You just roll that thing, you just just go, oh yeah, Phosphex Bombers, whatever. You'll get like 10 mortal wounds minimum.
Well, it's the same with the burst grenade. This is gonna be a 1 when you
we
need
have
it.
somebody in the chat says that according to Wapedia, the Engine Master is bomblets only, or the bomblets are Engine Master only.
I thought so.
Let's have a
I
look.
thought so. People, Matt Lyons. Is this Matt Lyons of Pro Painted Studios fame? I think it is him.
I don't know. It does say Engine Master only. Interesting. Unless I made a mistake. It might be my mistake, and it's actually just it is on
Cheater
the
alert!
master.
No, I'm just kidding. Get
I
him,
can check
boys!
that. I can check that.
Oh, this is like
Yeah,
what was the illegal list bug that everybody did in the old book with the collector trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
just the that I just
if you
wrote
use the
wrong
app, it allows to put a nullstone adornment on an ironclad. So
Yeah.
who knows? But I thought it was Engine Master.
I really considered the Whiz Bang Battalion, the Whiz Bangers of Antidor Battalion with 18 engine riggers in an R party boat because 4 attacks
Brokk,
on the charge. Yeah, 4 attacks agained against wizards on the charge. Like, I don't know.
But then, what wizards are you hunting?
Yeah, nobody's playing Archeon right now, but like, it's a bit of an overkill on
Archeon,
Krohn.
Plotkin, Alariel, yeah, I guess Techless, but yeah, it's a bit overkill.
But still, it's overkill, you know. But
it's
like,
fun.
still,
Yeah, it's fun having 4 plus 2
just
attacks.
putting those numbers in the spreadsheet and just look at look at Excel go burr.
Yeah. The document I got set with the lists on did say provisional, so maybe that was just a bit of a mistake. It was
but
on
it can easily go on the Engine Master. So
yeah, just put it on the Engine Master.
Interesting that he has prudency. Interesting that he chose prudency shoots in this list, where the previous list, I forget the gentleman's name, in the previous list had the last word, even with though he had the 15 Thunderers, you know. I'm assuming that the 6 engine riggers are also in the ironclad for healing and everything, and so
yeah.
But still, like when you see prudency shoots, typically you're thinking that you have a payload of riggers or wardens in one of the. But I think the last word is helpful there, so you can. If you get charged, you can unleash hell with the 10 Thunderers, which isn't as bad as 15, but at least you get the extra shots from the Sky Cannon too.
Honestly, I don't mind it because here you have the engine riggers.
You can get the Thunderers out, and then that will then allow you to use the Fumigator rolls as well.
Yeah, totally. Which
absolutely.
Not useless.
2d3 mortal wounds as well.
Not useless.
But also you have the balloons inside the boat, so charging the boat, you're gonna be in combat with Wizard Finder engine riggers.
Yeah.
So potentially more attacks. And then the ironclad goes down. Boom, everyone is still there.
Absolutely.
We have a 4 rally.
Prudency shoots. If you have an ironclad, you're putting a lot of stuff in it. Prudency shoots is hard to turn down, even though the Timmy player in me wants the battle ram to charge in with 18 engine riggers and a battle ram and just like, you know,
if you do that, you want to do the
everything.
3d6 charge, and then
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, yeah,
That's a different list. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Prudency shoots is the it's not the shiny option, but it's normally ends up being the one that saves your bacon the most.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you get surrounded. Like just
it could be the difference between losing like low, like almost like 1,000 points in one go, and not. So,
if I didn't have the prudency shoots when I got charged by 9 Bulgors top of turn 1, that would have been game over. But
cool. Should we move on to the next list? One thing about this list before we do is we mentioned at the beginning when someone asked about how to play KO, and we sort of said, I sort of said,
Good.
you can't either take a load of balloon boys and go for melee, or you take a load of thunderers and go shooting. This is kind of what a list looks like if you want to do a balance between the two.
Yes, absolutely.
Which you can also do. You don't have to sort of pick one and just go with it.
Which for a teams event, again, you can do the battle tactics and you can do okay against everything they throw at you. So this is a bus driver list, maybe.
Martin says in the chat that when the party boat turns into a pinata boat. That's fun. Cool. Next list is by Arnaud Bouchaud. It's Barak Zon again, but this is a low drop version, 2 drops with double battle regiment, which, spoiler alert, we're going to see a few of these variations. So we're going to look at the differences between the two. This has got 2 Endrin Masters on foot. One is the general with Stormcaller. The other one has an Oldstone icon. Navigator with Voidstone Orb and Gotrek.
Gurnison.
This one's correct.
Yes, this one is spelled correctly. This is the real Gotrek.
This is the other half. The
real Gotrek, please stand up. 10 Arkanauts, 2 units of 6 riggers, and then 2 frigates. One with the magnificent Omniscope split.
Ooh.
2 power regiments. We haven't been talking about articles and stuff, but maybe we should do at some point with some of these. 2 drops. Gotrek.
This is a KO list that isn't a shooting army.
Yeah, this is pretty much full melee.
It still shoots.
Yeah, it still shoots.
It does still shoot, but
when you tell people, they're my melee guys, and then you go and do 18, and then you go, I've got 18 shots, and they're like, oh,
Ren 2.
Yeah.
18. They're you got 36 shots there.
Oh yeah, with 1 unit is what I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The melee guys, and it's like
Yes, I'm
fantastic.
Oh, you're melee KO. Yes, ignore these 36 Ren 2 shots though.
Yeah. Voice Navigator Stormcaller, good combination.
Classic.
Slowing people down.
Gotrek
Got some
2.0.
healing. Got lots of healing for his boats. Which is good. Gotrek. So just deploy behind Gotrek with your screen, and then go out and kill stuff with your boats. Charge your boats.
Yeah, this list can kill stuff.
Yeah, he's got the 3d6 charge, so he can move the ship that's slightly faster, try to charge that one, and then fly high the slower one.
And then you get strike first with everyone that jumps out of the boat.
And then Gotrek did make a charge. He can fight normally.
Normal activation will be Gotrek.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a strong list. It's a bit fragile.
Yeah, only 6 engine riggers in each boat is a little.
You have 10 Arkanauts as a screen. 6 engine riggers is fine, but you need to be careful where you strike. And once you struck, that you're not exposed to lose them. You can control that with the Navigator and the Stormcaller a little bit.
And Gotrek.
2 Endrin Masters and 6 engine riggers, so whoever targets the boat is an idiot because you're gonna heal it up quickly.
Gotrek is actually a control piece in this list. You know,
it's
like
it's
sort
a
of
9 piece.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a cool list. Gotrek plus fighty stuff. It's fun. It's a fun list. It's a very fast list, except Gotrek.
Yeah.
And it can do good damage. I played a similar thing recently against a flesh eater with 6 zombie dragons. Plus he re-summoned one or got one back, so 7. I had to kill 7 for my grand strat. But this list, yeah, one boat with 6 enemies, he can kill a zombie dragon per turn. It's no problem.
Do we know how well these lists went in the end?
Not all of them, but I know the 2 best ones, which is the second best is Will's, and the last one we have is Baz's list, which did the best out of all the KO lists. The way there was like a spreadsheet that just didn't say like the results; it just said how many points they scored, so it's hard to know whether they went like 4-1 or
yeah. So you don't know who were they playing on what battle plan.
No,
Was it an active pairing choice or not? So it's to pick out the best player of a team is a stupid thing at teams event because you never know.
You could go back. It's all on Stats and Ladders, and it is possible to sort of go through. And I just haven't gone through look through it all in massive detail. But yeah, strong list, but fragile. I think is the answer.
Very fragile in terms of your once you lose the balloons, this list might struggle a bit.
One thing I want to point out with this with teams, which is if they are doing the thing where you're pairing into battle plans, if you're doing a navigator and you've got Stormcaller, you do not want to go into the one where visibility is cut to 12 inches.
That battle plan shouldn't even be in a tournament.
Yeah, plus it's a weird one. It's a weird one because it limits visibility between models, but not between a model and a point on a battlefield. So you could still throw out a comet. And stuff like that. So it's a weird one. That one. I hope to get rid of it in 4th edition.
Yeah, and I think it's not even between models. It's between units. So if the unit is within 12, even if only one model from the unit is within 12, then all the guys outside of 12 can still see. Which doesn't make any sense.
It's a super weird one. So it's not as strong as you think against spellcasting, because more often they can still have the
pick a point and do something.
It's a weird one.
But it's not good for a navigator. That one.
Nope.
Because you're not half moving stuff once they're already within 12 is not so good.
Most shooting in this list wants to be within 12 anyway. So
cool. Let's look at another one of these because it's going to be a few similar lists. So this is a different version by Chris Archibald. 1970 points. Still 2 drops because it's still 2 frigates, 2 battle regiments. Chris has got for his Triumph Indomitable, which is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that one. Interesting.
I assume that's not a mistake on my part because that would be a very weird thing for me to put in unless I copy and paste it from another one. So he has an Admiral, Stormcaller.
The Indomitable.
Okay. Typo. There we go.
So it tells me that you actually actively typed this.
Yes, but did I type it on a different one and then copy and paste it is the problem. But no, I think it is from this one. Patronal does as well on the Admiral. Navigator, Voidstone Orb. Endremaster, Dirigible Suit. Brokk Grungsson, spelled correctly. A unit of 10 Arkanauts, another unit of 10 Arkanauts, then 2 units of 6 riggers, basically 1 unit of riggers and 1 unit of Arkanauts in each battle regiment. 2 frigates, 1 with prudency shoots.
Interesting.
Which is also the flagship.
In Zon, though.
So this is in Zon, but has Brokk, which is not an uncommon choice.
No, it's a clever. Yeah, I play the same.
It's
so much value. That guy.
Like he's not really doing his full value because obviously his ability to give +1 attack does target the Barak keyword. So it's only him that will benefit from it. But because everything else is getting +1 to hit and wound, there's nothing to then stop you using. It's not a waste to give all that attack to him. So he's basically going to be hitting on 2s anyway. Because he already wounds on.
The fun thing is, if you rules as written, he still gets +1 to hit and wound. because it's not limited to Grungsson. I think it's just
I'm
Grungsson
pretty
army.
sure he doesn't. I'm pretty
But
sure.
I know that the Worlds team and refs they FAQ'd this and said it's Grungsson units. He does not get the +1 to hit and wound.
Yeah, I don't think it matters in the wording of the ability for Grungsson. I think what matters is the bit in the battle trace that says, "Oh, you can get those abilities if you have the keyword earlier on." In the book.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But,
But I know
what
some people
Brokk is,
play it different. Yeah,
but what Brokk is great here for is that both frigates can
run,
shoot, and charge.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he's a gun platform. He is 3/4 output of an ironclad. You know.
Yeah, he's almost shooting like a frigate himself.
He's more than a
So-
frigate.
Yeah.
He shoots more than a frigate, less than an ironclad. Because he's got 6 shots that rend 1-2 damage, and then he's got 1 of the cannon shots, and his cannon shot hits on 3, even though the ironclads hit on 4s. And it's only 1 shot, but it's the D3 +3, the ironclad strength with the with the single shot.
and his
Because
are
the frigates
18
is D3 +2, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and his shots are 18 inches. The thing is a bit weird here is the Admiral for me. Because
I agree.
run and shoot and charge you already have with Brokk. Although in Grungsson only 12-inch range for the command, which makes it a bit more difficult to
get them both.
orchestrate. Funnily enough, though, the commands have different names. So you could do both.
Yes, so they're
command
different, so you
the
can still do
ships
something.
and command the fleet. I think they're called. Or something like that. So you could do both. One for free for the flagship with the Admiral.
I mean, he's still worth 10 command points effectively.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it's a Brokk is there for the run, shoot, and charge on the boats. You get both Ender Rigger boats forward with an Ender Master, so good healing.
And it's also just more attacks when you do that charge. So
Max, to your point about the Arcana Admiral being the weak link in the list, if you remove him with the extra 30 points that you already have, that's 180 points. So you're looking at either a gun hauler or beefing up both Arcanaut units to 20, or
now you know what I'm playing currently.
Oh well, cat's out of the bag,
Yeah. Although in Zon, I'm not sure of the dirigible suit Admiral. Maybe you cut the dirigible suit and then make one Ender Riggers Skywardens for battle line, and then you're 2,000 points as well, and you still have the what's it called, flagship thing.
Yeah.
And I mean the Admiral is you still get the +1 rend on Ender Rigger shooting, maybe if you need. So free rend shooting.
I mean, if you took out the Admiral and downgraded the dirigible suit to an Engine Master, you could fit in how many extra Engine Riggers? Because that would be 180.
Yeah, you end up with a weird points thing.
No, you get 260, so you can get another 6. You can get another 6 Engine Riggers if you take out the Admiral and downgrade the Engine Master to a foot Engine Master. You can get 6 extra Engine Riggers right there if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can.
You could do 9 and 9. You could do 6 and 3 and 6 and 3, or whatever you wanted.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of fat to trim on this list.
It depends what you're going for, but the baseline is 2 attack boats with Brokk and Ender Master with dirigible suit and an Admiral that can all punch.
A lot of healing then. That's a lot of healing because
there's a lot of healing.
+1. Brokk, Brokk doesn't get. He doesn't heal, but the other one heals 3 out of.
Yeah, why doesn't he heal? He has all that money. Why doesn't he heal? That's my only problem with him.
You can give double healing, unless they kill those boats in one turn, they're not dying.
No. If they target the boats, they're doing something.
The big issue with this list is they start shooting the Ender Riggers or something, and then they die very quickly.
Yeah, for that's why you have a 4-up.
It randomly came to matter when I had Engine Riggers that were within 3 inches of a boat that was in combat, and you realize that you can still heal the boat even if the boat's in combat as long as the riggers aren't. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I was in between doing mobilize the fleet and then boots on the ground. I was like in between turns, and so I was able to heal the boat even though it was in combat because they weren't. They were behind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and 15 wounds on a 3-up or 2-up save, depending if you have a command point to spare, is a lot. to go through, and if they don't, it's back to 15 wounds.
Yep.
It will be.
Yeah. So, another thing about this list is what you get here, and all those things that Matt was talking about, like, if you took out some, like the Admiral, the Endermaster, the Dirigible series, this goes to show how many and what you can fit in a KO list if you don't take Gotrek. Like there's a lot of stuff you can, like, because he's only one model. Yeah, he's 408 points, but it's
480 points.
There's a lot you can do, like, because obviously the previous version of this was still 2 attack boats, 2 frigates, and was it 2 units? Yeah, 2 units of 6 Ender riggers in the last one there was, isn't it? And it's just the difference is Gotrek, and then so you swap Gotrek for Brokk and the dirigible suit and some more Arcanauts and stuff. But it probably is why it feels like there's a little bit of fat there, because when you compare it to those sorts of lists where there's like an Admiral,
it's a lot of points, in heroes in this one.
Yeah. Cool. But also the Indomitable thing in here might just be because of shooting. They split their shots on the riggers. You can only make one of them.
Bravery 7.
Yeah, you lose like 5, and then you don't want the last one running away, so you can rally it.
But then you just inspire.
I just find that KO has so many.
They split their shots max. Like you can only inspire in presence 1 unit. Bravery 7 is not great. It's not massive.
It's average.
Yeah. It's not. There's a lot of stuff. Not Bravery 10 guys running around.
Demons of Death. Yeah.
I mean, you don't need the inspired because +1 to hit, +1 to wound anyway.
I think inspired is good though when you have riggers. That's the thing. Is inspired is good because you give them all that attack. You do inspired, so they go from 3s and 4s to 2s and 3s, and you give them the Admiral's Rend, so they're -3 Rend, and that's
suddenly
like, scary
shit.
Yeah.
And
it's only once per game, but
but I might even opt for a Bloodthirsty in this one.
Yeah, because
like that 3d6 charge, you want to get that 3d6 charge.
You want to hit that off.
Yeah,
and I've had that. I lost games because I went in. I rolled a 5. Let me re-roll it. I rolled a 4 on 3d6. That was, and then I lost the frigate with everyone inside.
Yeah, I did it in my game last night. I didn't need the 3d6 charge to get in, but by doing the 3d6 charge and I re-rolled it to get a good charge, it allowed me to get over the top of the unit and kill the heroes rather than kill the unit, which then removed this is Age of Sigmar, so kill the Warforger, which then removed the +1 save.
And the 5 up and the 6s do mortals.
But re-rolling that charge from like a 6 to a 14 or something, it was huge. And I didn't need it. Like I could have just charged in and just killed the unit, but it's cool. Let's look at another list. So this is by Lasse Kalberg. 1 drop, 1990 points. And we're moving to Barak Zilfin.
For the 1 drop,
This is the opposite. This is all shoot.
Yes, this is we've gone from all melee to all shooting. So we have an Admiral as general with X Grundstock and the burst grenade, a chemist with an also icon, and an Endrin Master on foot, a unit of 15 Thunderers and a unit of 10 Thunderers, a frigate and an ironclad. That's it. The frigate has prudence shoots and the ironclad has last word because in Zilfin you get an extra
engine
work. That's the word I was looking for. And the reason it's 1 drop is because the frigate is battle line in Zilfin. So you have 2 boats flying around with Thunderers that are just going to fly somewhere and shoot a load of stuff.
No fat in this list.
No.
Maybe you could say the Engine Master is, but it's.
But what else you put in for 90, for 100 points?
A screen.
Screen. But then you struggle with the battle tactics. I always like to have 3 heroes to do the in and out of boat things.
Yeah, I find you don't necessarily need 3 heroes if you then got 2 heroes and a unit, but it's nicer to have 3 because it just makes it. Then you can have a unit do one thing, and then the heroes can do the battle tactic. So,
exactly.
So I guess it's a shame that they can't upgrade the Endmaster to another chemist. But this just points. Old points they would have been able to.
And you get a little bit of healing. So
Yeah, a little bit of healing's never a bad
Three
thing,
wounds.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does one
screens is a
thing, but
bit-
it's really freaking well, you know.
Yeah. And this is a proper like teams listing in the sense of it's going for a skew, and you play this against something that doesn't like shooting, and then it's like there you go.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, have fun.
you're going to shooting with this. But yeah, no screens.
Fight some Skaven.
Yeah.
Does
And
the
the burst
Admiral-
grenade as well.
Does
So
the
it's like,
Admiral's
I'm
command
gonna shoot.
ability allow you to re-roll the run roll like Brock's
Yes,
does?
yes.
Okay.
It's the same wording, just one
Yeah,
ship instead of
Just
three.
one ship, yeah, because that's really
Mhm.
great with the 2d6 run on an ironclad
Absolutely.
filled with. Well, the problem is you can't really do the out of the boat in the boat trick as easily with Thunderers.
Not with
'cause
Not with
Thunderers.
Thunderers.
No, because they're too slow.
They couldn't
Unless
catch it.
you're-
They couldn't keep up.
Unless you're just
Yeah.
going for the bombing run. Just send the ship forward and backward and get back inside.
I mean, if you're gonna go for a charge in this list, you'll be doing it with a frigate to get you more wounds on the charge.
No, but I mean, you'll be able to basically get the Thunderers an extra 6-inch range movement. I mean, because of the way how long the ironclad base is, you know.
Yeah.
So if you get out in the back, or if you get out in the front and then get in the back, you essentially just get that difference in movement.
My
or
problem
range.
with this list is you only have one. Let me think. This is Zilfin, so not many command points. So you can do the
You do have
fly
damage,
high
so-
the boat and get out 15
Right.
Thunderers, but the other ones need to stick in the frigate.
Or
I
they
think
can
you-
the
the
frigate can
frigate-
charge and they can get out.
Yeah, and then you move the frigate, shoot, and then charge, and then
Right.
get them on the objective. But it's
Mhm.
it's a bit of a. Then they don't have the extra rend.
They have to
then
be charging
oh.
something like 10 Ungord or something
Yeah, but then
like.
you're. What are
Mhm.
you shooting? 10 Ungers?
Yeah.
Because then there's nothing left to charge. It's a bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Interesting.
It's
Maybe the 10 Thunders are his screen, and if he wants to, he can put them with the frigate somewhere, or otherwise the frigate just jumps around,
Yeah.
charging people. We don't know. Yeah.
But no, if you're gonna go for all shooting, the burst grenade is you might as well go all in and be like, well, I'm gonna shoot you even if you've got a ward as well.
My main question is, how did we go from 35 Thunders to this to 25? Like what
Points.
happened?
Where'd the points go?
And
Points
Thunderers
went
is
up
too
a
good.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah, 35 Thunders is just cool. You know.
35 Thunderers over a bridge and 2 chemists. Yeah.
It was a bridge too far, obviously. No one gets
But,
that pun because it's obviously a really old film. Cool. So let's move on to the last list. Now this was the strongest performing KO list. I don't know how much by, but yeah, did the best out of all the KO lists. So this is by Baz Norman Jr. So it's 1970, 2 drops, and it's very similar to some other lists we looked at because it's double battle regiment, Barak's on with 2 frigates. It's got an admiral, general, stormcaller, a navigator, a voidstone orb, because that's just a really good combination. An engine master on foot, Gotrek, 2 units of 3 engine riggers, a unit of 6, and the frigates, 2 battle regiments.
Yeah.
There
3.
we go.
2 3-man units because you need a battle line.
Yeah, the engine master is there to make
The
battle
shame
line.
with if you run double frigate, you always end up in 2 drops unless Zilfin, but you're gonna go Zon or Nar for the get better melee with the balloons.
Mhm.
That's a bit of a shame that you cannot have a 1-drop balloon build unless you play a gun hauler with compartments. But then so it's a bit of a weird thing. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
2 drops.
bet. Yeah, I mean, you put Gotrek down and you put some stuff behind Gotrek, and you're like, okay, well, if you want to, you know where my stuff is, but it's where Gotrek is. So, so he does have Bloodthirsty as his as his
Yeah,
triumph.
maybe even for Gotrek in this case.
Yeah, it's just generally good when you want to charge with both frigates and Gotrek if he's close enough. So, good, strong, messing around with. We mentioned Stormcaller and the Navigator before. We know that we like Orb. Gotrek's good. He's got interesting that he split the flagship and prudency shoots around rather than being like, okay, this is my main frigate.
Interesting. He went for prudency shoots instead of omniscope.
Yeah. I mean, they're both good. So
yeah, but prudency shoots. I mean, you get the benefit when you lose a ship. That's something I don't like.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah. I mean, I used to. I mean, I didn't play with the omniscope. I played with. I can't remember what it's called now. When all the ships get +2 move instead of the 4+ rally.
Master in Disguise.
Master in Disguise. That's it.
Master and Commander.
Yeah, I like. It's 2 inches. Is not massive. I mean, if you're combining that with the omniscope, then it starts getting massive.
It is though. Ask your wife. It is though. No, jokes aside. I'm little Dieter. I'm playing around with a lot of boats list. Having that one boat, one frigate and 16-inch move, because omniscope and Master of Skies +4.
Yes, if you're combining the two, then
you can start reaching and then run and charge and shoot with a 2d6 run. You can start reaching heroes that are far away and drop bombs on your heads.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I went to my first frigate. So it's 3 frigates and an ironclad with battle ram. It's a lot of bombs, and the problem with the ironclad bombs, it has 10-inch movement, so you cannot be more than 7 inches away because of the flyover, and then be 3 inches out of range when landing, which makes it a bit hard to drop the bombs on an ironclad. But with a 16-inch and running 2d6 rerollable frigates, you get a lot of leverage to drop bombs, and then 3 frigates, that's 24 dice, so potentially 12 mortal wounds on average.
3 frigates on an ironclad. What else? Yeah. Like, what space do you have to put anything else in though? Like, is that it?
Heroes?
A few heroes and 1 unit of Arcanauts.
Yeah, full screen.
And it's all, and then you don't care about. It means that Dieter not talking about this list, but then a lot of bombs. You have a battle ram. You have a 3d6 charge on the ironclad. It's still a lot of shooting. It's a lot of shots with 1 rend 2 damage. A lot. So 18, 27 +14.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting list for sure.
It's fun. I don't know how competitive it is, but it's fun because you do bombs, you do charges, you do shooting, you do a lot of stuff.
So, to circle back to Baz's list a bit, because I mean, yeah, sure, right? I mean, we can come back to yours as well, because I'm sure people will be interested in it. But we're almost comparing 2 different things, because obviously I mentioned the article, which the choice for the article is that or the 4+ rally, and that's kind of an obvious choice, really, when you think about it, because the 4+ rally is really very strong. When it comes to the engine work, which is actually where we started the conversation, that's a little bit different, because then you're comparing it to prudency shoots.
Right.
And that's what we're questioning is
with not a big payload in the frigate to really like make the prudency shoots like that. It's not like there's 15 Thunderers or 9 engine riggers or something, So
it does depend how he puts everything in, because he's probably going to drop Battle Regiment 2 first, which is because that's the one we'll go check in. But there's then nothing stopping him putting the heroes from Battle Regiment 1 into the frigate from Battle Regiment 2. So then if you've got heroes in there, which would make sense to put the Navigator in there, because Gotrek's probably going to be quite far forwards. You want your Navigator far forwards, because if not, you're not going to be 30-inch range of people for the auto unbind and for half moving them. If you put that frigate really far back, so I I know. I think once you start getting heroes in that ship, and if it is far forwards, then prudency shoots is is going to be that thing where you make a mistake and it saves you. So just a bit closer.
Although I agree with Matt, it's prudency choose for a few ending riggers. I'm also questioning the 4-up rally because the 3-man units, how often are they going to survive for you to actually be able to rally?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you can only rally 1 unit. So let's say you lose 2 on each. Okay, you have on average you get 1 balloon back.
Yeah, exactly.
2 rolls. I don't know how
you want it on units of 9 or 15.
How valuable this is. Or maybe if there's a better choice.
I think the +2 move on both frigates would probably be better than the 4-up rally in this list.
Yeah, because the grudge doesn't give you much +1 to wound, because again, on charge you're +1 to hit and wound anyway.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know whether we actually used it that much. It's also worth noting that this exact list, he took it to come up with the exact name of the tournament, but tournament run by the guys that do Goonhammer. They ran a tournament, 2-day tournament, and Baz won that tournament like a month ago or a month and a half.
Congratulations to Baz.
So this list has a lot of pedigree.
No, absolutely. That's great.
But maybe they're things
that doesn't sound sarcastic. Like,
la-ti-da.
Way to go. Like, that's great. That's awesome.
Maybe it's just like he doesn't use them in many games, but on the one game that he needs it,
it comes in handy, right? Like,
saves the bacon, and then I don't know. I mean, that's the trouble with defensive abilities, isn't it? That's what prudency shoots and the 4+ rally hours. They're effectively defensive abilities, and they're only useful if you need them. If you
planning for failure.
So it's. I mean, the other thing with this list is there's basically no screen.
Yeah.
Unless you use units of 3 riggers, and you got Gotrek.
You got to use terrain smartly when you're deploying.
I mean, Gotrek
is a very. The Gotrek is less of a screen and more of a.
Better not come over here.
Like a
You best not take a swing. You best not swing at the king unless if you swing at the king, you better not miss.
Because a screen is kind of like holding a shield, whereas Gotrek's like having a nuke and saying like you come and get me, I'm just gonna nuke you.
He's a nuclear deterrent.
It's like standing there, like a screen is like having a big wooden shield, and Gotrek's like holding a grenade with and we're like, do you want to come? Like,
hey guys, I hate to jump off a little early here, but I gotta run. I gotta fly high and land at my. I'm not gonna continue that pun. But it was a pleasure joining you guys, and I look forward to hopefully doing this more in the future.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you for being on.
As always, Matt. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
See you soon. So where were we? So I mean, the question is really, why do you think this list did better than all the other KO lists? Do you think it was the list, or do you think it was just Baz?
He was the team captain doing pairings, and he always took the.
Do you think that was it? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if he was the captain or not. There's a good chance maybe he was. But
to be honest, for a teams event, it's hard to compare players' points because it's just someone always got the easy matchups to score 20 points because that was the plan. Well, congratulations.
He might have done well.
Maybe he did played some other one played very strong Warhammer, but always lost by 2 points.
How did his team do? Did his team do well, or were they middling?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
So it's always hard to, and I also dislike like best player awards on a team event because it's very skewed.
Incentivizes.
Yeah, I don't think they did best player awards. They just sort of said like for each Grand Alliance, okay, here's order. This is how everyone did in order. This is how everyone did in Def. And then I just
I've got a small teams event coming up around June, which has an interesting twist. It's 4-player teams, and 1 Grand Alliance per team member, basically.
That's fun.
Mhm.
So you have 1 Death, Order, Destruction, Chaos.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how many Khorne chaos
Yeah.
are gonna be? All of them.
Yeah. Our team's looking at taking a Skaven guy. That's our Chaos player.
Cool.
Yeah.
He will be Busboy, unfortunately, and he's going to take a super skew, just Warp Lightning Vortex and Storm Friends. Basically, it's whether he wins or loses isn't going to be up to his opponent. It's going to be up to whether he can roll 1s on those Warp Lightning cannons.
I mean, it's not a bad list. It's not a bad list.
Mhm.
It's fun. Yeah.
He can play good, like, thinking man Skaven, but he knows he's going to get bust.
Yeah. Mhm. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, these very 7. There's some variation in these lists. But there's also a lot of similarities. There's a lot of Zon lists with double frigates. That's probably the most popular choice that we've seen. Do you think that is just for teams, or do you think generally that's the best option for KO?
It's a play style, I think.
Or do you think people
go
enjoy it
hit
more
people
than
on the head and have
Thunderers?
fun? Then
Mhm.
frigates and balloons. If you play more defensively and stay back and shoot, maybe Thunderers. Or if you need one thing dead, then yeah, Thunderers.
Mhm.
Gotrek, I think, is strong, but in this case, mostly due to the team's format.
Mhm.
Like, we can take Gotrek, even better. Because in singles, I don't know, because there's a lot of ward removals out there.
Mhm.
Khorne has one, Seraphon has one, KO has one. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, balloons are very fragile, but balloons and frigates are fun. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean the synergy is kind of nice with Gotrek and the Blues because you make up for their fragility with something that's very durable.
Yeah.
A bit, so balance it out a bit there. That's cool. Interesting that there wasn't anything going down the multiple ship route that you were sort of talking about, or
no, because
those
me
are
and
gun haulers, 'cause that
Krohn,
is a
we
massive
ruined
skew.
the gun haulers. It went up 10 points.
Yeah.
we ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
It was a
And
thin line, and now that you only take
It's
8 or so
expensive.
or 7 in a list, it's not
yeah,
big
it's
enough.
not as good. And you start losing 2, and then no output.
Mhm.
It was fun while it lasted.
How many games have you had with your 3 frigates and ironclad list, Max?
With the 3 frigates, I played 1 or 2. I played around with 2 frigates, ironclad, and gun haulers.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that was maybe 2 or 3 more.
Mm-hmm. And then, so the play with that is just to charge and do loads of mortal wounds.
The play with that is that you can do a lot of damage in 3 phases. You can do it in the movement phase through bombs, and the charge phase through impacts, and the shooting phase through shooting. Combat, you have Brokk. Brokk can do a little bit of combat, but just to kill off that last wound or 2, maybe. It is very good against non-flying armies, because against flyers you lose all the bombs.
Yeah.
It is good in a way that if you lose a frigate, you don't care as much, because it's just a frigate. There's no one inside. There's no units inside that are, you know, a frigate.
And you got 2 others.
Yeah, you got 2 more plus. It's, as I said, 15 wounds and a 3-up save. It can tank a bit. Like you need to invest something to kill it, and then if you did, there's boats lined up behind to then kill you again. So there's a bit of resilience there. It is a bit difficult in terms of you only have boats to contest objectives. which is a
So
bit
you just-
harder. Yes, they count as 5, but you actually need to
You need to
make sure where
clear
you
off
go
the-
and what you do. It is great against high armor units. I played against a Lumineth list with a cow. The cow was on a, I don't know, 0 up, ignore 5 rend save. Who knows?
Mhm.
And you just drop bombs and then ram it to death. And yes, it has a 5 up ward from Techless, but that didn't save it.
Mhm.
And then you win a double and you just shoot and ram into Techless. And that's the game, basically.
Yeah.
'Cause you can make that's a 1-drop if you wanted to.
It is a one drop list.
Mhm.
Nice.
And it is a very fast list. Because yeah, your slowest thing is the Ironclad with 12-inch move. And yeah, the heroes, but they're inside the boat, and the 10
Mhm.
Arcanauts, they're your screen and they're dead after
Yeah,
a while
yeah,
anyway.
about them. Once they've done their
Yeah.
job, then
Yeah, they screen and then they set on a home objective, and that's all they do.
yeah, or you run them to within 6 inches of the board edge so that they can get someone to destroy.
Not even.
You don't even need to do that because you've got the ships.
And again,
so
you can put a navigator in one frigate, send him off to a corner within 30
Mhm.
inches, and just sit there and shoot 24 inches and not participate in the bombing. And well, it can still participate in bombing because you can do the bombing and then
Yeah.
fly high. So it's just the shooting. Yeah, so it's a fun thing. I like it because it's a different route. It's a different play style again. Something people have not
It's
seen.
something that opponents are not going to expect.
No, and
So
people underestimate how much damage it comes out other than shooting.
mhm.
And if you think about it, it's still a lot of shots. It's 3 times 9 carbine shots, so to say, plus the 14 from the Ironclad, which makes it 9, 27, 36, 40, 50 shots. Am I right? Plus some torpedoes.
Rend 1 damage 2, yeah.
50 shots, Ren 1, damage 2,
Mhm.
freeze and freeze.
It's a lot of
That's
shots.
a lot of that. Like even if you're on a free up save, there's only as many free ups you can roll. You're gonna roll 1s and 2s eventually, and then it's 2 damage each that goes through. So you can whittle down things. It's with the 3d6 charge on the Ironclad with the battle ram. There's a lot of mortal wounds there, plus 3 times 8 dice for the battle rams or the ramming from the
Mhm.
frigates. So that's another 12 mortal wounds just from the frigates on average. Plus, let's say you roll a 11, charge another 5. So yeah, 17, 18 mortal wounds just from charging you. And you roll 16, 24, 34 bomb dice. If you
Mhm.
can, in an ideal world where you can reach everything.
So
So that opens up bombing run battle tactic quite
Yeah.
easily. So
question-
34. So that's another 17 mortal wounds just from bombs.
A question about the charges. Oh, because obviously you charge one boat in, it does its mortal wounds.
Mm.
They remove models. How often does that then become a problem with making the other charges harder?
Not so much. Well, it depends what you charge, but
Yeah.
not so much because you have so much movement with the
Mhm.
run and shoot and charge. You don't care about the heroes inside. Oh, the admiral cannot shoot. Who
Yeah.
cares? Brokk, you can do the get in and out, get out and in trick,
Mhm.
so you can still shoot. You're mostly when dropping bombs, you're 3 inches away
Mhm.
anyway, because you do not have that much movement to like get back further.
Yeah.
So yeah, you shoot, you bomb. You're gonna need some.
Okay,
setting
so then they
again
take some
charging.
wounds, and you end up with a 6-inch charge instead of a
Yeah,
3-inch
something like
charge.
that. So you might still, and you have the what's the word? Like if you fail the charge one frigate, you still have 2 other frigates that you can do the charge with.
Yeah, and then one of them can reroll.
Yep.
What? Which? Well, how many points are you for a start with that list? 2,000? Oh, you're coughing.
Pardon me. Let me check the list.
Do you get a triumph potentially? And if so, which one are you taking?
I don't think it's 2,000. I think it's boats. This is called boats. It's 2,000 points on the nose.
Mhm.
This version it
No,
has
it
a
doesn't.
navigator with Voidstone Orb just because you can deny magical
Mhm.
dominance. Brokk because 3 boats run, shoot, and charge. and one can do the teleport and 3d6 charge. Ender Master with dirigible suit as your general.
Mhm.
With no sun icon, Stormcaller. Standard. You have some healing in the list. 10 Arcanauts.
You saw some
3
more
Frig.
shooting.
Yeah.
There's a damage once you do charge in.
His shooting is decent. It's okay. Plus, it's another fighty dude once you charge in.
Yeah, it's fine.
3 frigates and an ironclad with battle run.
Mhm.
And one of the frigates has the
Just
omniscope,
big boats.
obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 3 boats,
Sounds
an ironclad, 10 dudes, and some heroes. It's primary scoring primary. I don't know, but it's fun.
Cool. There's a question from the chat. How's the list with Ionis doing? Well, I'm guessing since you're not playing it anymore, that gives an answer.
Ionis did well. It's just a great war scroll, but again, teams events. Ionis is better in Stormcast, so off he went. Because he can do the whole shenanigans with I cast a comet from outside of unbinding range. Oh, your phase, it's within 12 of Ionis. 2+. Back in the pocket. Next turn, I cast an comet from outside of unbinding range. Boom.
Yeah.
So that's the whole trick with him. And then you do it's a list with all the mortal wounds. And then you have Ionis there, no inspiring presence, no rally, people start running away.
Yeah.
So he's very good in that list. He can do a guaranteed teleport prayer because he can pray on the 6. And he's also seen some play in Fire Slayers. I think Nathan, who played the KO list here, we had him on the show. He's playing around with Fire Slayers with Ionis.
You'd think he's a good
because he can pray the Fire Slayer invocations. They're not limited to Fire Slayer priests.
Oh, can he?
Yeah, they're the only ones that are not limited.
Oh no!
And he can do it.
Oh no!
And then he can eat them and throw them out again. So it's a fun little thing. Yeah.
I can't believe that's a thing. Oh dear.
Yeah. So Ionis is great. I still think he's a great addition to KO list because he's 400 points. He's a bit cheaper than Gotrek if you're struggling for points. So
cool. Another question from the chat is we sort of covered a bit earlier. Why almost every list has Gotrek now? Well, partially these are teams lists.
Yes.
A lot of people are playing Gotrek just because he's good. I like playing him. He's an angry dwarf for a start. He inspires fear into people. There's some people that just like Gotrek, and they just panic and they just don't know what to do. And it throws them off. Like I even had someone I played against, some good player. He was 2 drops, I was 2 drops, and he just made me drop first because I just having Gotrek threw him off a bit. So then I got the choice of who went first, even though he'd won the roll off. It's just Gotrek can throw people off. He can help us compete on the primary where we're very good on the secondary already, I think.
Yes.
And he adds durability that KO don't have.
And he's an answer to something like Sons of Behemoth now.
Yeah.
They're back up there. He can kill a Mega Gargant with 2 activations. These lists we see with boats and enderings, they can also, but then they're stood there on the objective, and there's other 3 guardians eyeing you angrily because you just killed a mate.
Yeah.
And that's probably the end of your boat. It's gonna throw a terrain piece at you. So Gotrek doesn't care as much. If they're bundled up, if there's 3 of them together, he's having a good time. He's keeping them busy.
And as Max was saying, he's this meta pick for the team's pairing process because it'll shake people off and possibly force bad matchups for them or good matchups for you.
Yeah, maybe OBR, they have a good matchup on something like Geomantic Pulse because they can put their defensive castle in the middle and wait for the pulse to come. Everyone's in one place. That's something Gotrek loves.
Yes.
Now that decision maybe is not as interesting for the opponent's player or pairing. people.
The other thing is, from a positioning point of view, is you put Gotrek in the middle of the board. You deploy him as far to the middle as you can. You run him forward. You move all your stuff to a flank. If you kill that stuff on the flank, all the stuff on the other flank and in the middle kind of has to go past Gotrek to get to you.
Yep.
So it kind of makes kiting your opponent's army also like, not only am I kiting, but you have to go through Gotrek. So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. Another question for the chat is whether there's a KO Discord server. There is. It's called the Skyport. I believe if you look on the Aethercast channel on YouTube, there's a place where there's links, and there is a link to the KO Discord. There's also a link to the WhatsApp chat, I think, as well, and Facebook. The Facebook one's easy to find. Cool. Yep. Anything else we want to talk about before we go? Because we're reaching 2 hours.
No.
Sounds like a no.
Well, all waiting for 4th edition.
Yes, we're waiting for 4th edition, basically.
We'll make a few videos once we start getting solid.
Oh, we'll do a lot of videos. Yeah, trying to learn together and understand.
Yes. Yeah. What's going to happen? Cool. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to Krohn and Max and Matt for joining and helping me discuss these lists and talk about some stuff. Let us know in the comments whether you liked the show. Hit like if you did. Tell us whether you liked us doing the hobby showcase thing. You want us to do it more, and what you want from the show, between now and 4th edition. Cool.
Anything you're interested in, anything you want us to cover, maybe go more into detail in battle tactics or other things. We struggle with deployment, or my opponent with his ogre army always eats my ships.
Yeah,
maybe we can do something there. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, mate.
See ya.
Actually, in screen.